Hello, hello, how's it going? Yet another day in other waters. There we go. Just popped the game on. And yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying this game. I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. It's brought up a bunch of questions. Maybe they're pedantic questions on my end that the author may not have thought of, but yeah, so we're gonna boot up, we're back on our station. So, we found out last time, we found Monet. We brought her back to the ship. She was in a comatose state without a actual suit. Don't know how she was in the deep water because of that, but whatever. We found some sulfur pools, a crashed ship, and we're gonna find the other one. But we also know, where's the med lab? Med bay, there we go. Yeah, she started growing. Why she did that, I don't know. And the fact why she didn't do that before, was it the pressure that made her do it? Like she was just in an oxygenated environment. So we're gonna see where this one goes. We chose not to purge her. Whether that's the good idea or not, I don't know. But I'm going with Evie has some personal connection with her, so I figure some compassion might be necessary. Oh, did I not go through the lab thing? Oh yeah, I did. Fine. And explore we shall. We are going to go. So we're in the deeps. We need to go check out this guy. We got a plasma torch from our friendly crashed ship. So we're gonna go up this way. See what there is to see in this hellish abyss. Darkness reigns, if you will. I like the color tone for this. The light green, or the teal and yellow is cool, but this one has like a much greater contrast. What's this? Oh, it's the laser. I can prime, I can ignite. Neat. I'm going this way. This is also an experimental one where I read out pretty much everything I see since it's more narrative based, so we'll see how that goes. Alright. Complex creature. A mass of tentacles and growths unlike anything I've ever seen. It's difficult. What's this? It looks like a whole menagerie of creatures caught in a silken net. Seen. It's difficult to understand the anatomy of these creatures just by looking. Well, fair. Another group of towers rise toward the pale light, each strata piled with silver silt. The silt's silver. That's kind of interesting. Kind of glowing and incandescent. In the shadow of the towers, there's a deep silence. Well, yeah. I wonder how much sound you would get in the suit of a submarine. Or of a suit, I guess. From beneath the towers, a pale light flickers over the rocks. Flanked by the towers, this pass leads ever deeper down the slope. Okay, we're going this way. I'm not going to be 100%ing the game, but I'm definitely going to try to explore as much as I can. Hey, we're going back into the veil tangle. More veils. We need to be careful. There has to be a way to find a path through. I could also not go through the veils. That's a possibility. Gap opened between the veils, allowing passage between their gauzy bodies. But that's like a long way. If I go this way... Yeah, let's head back. find a different path. We've already seen the well, hold up. That's where we find the body of it, I'm certain. We may be finding our way past, for sure, but there's got to be samples around here. The veil is in the process of splitting away from the rest of the body. It's how veils are born, or is it an injury? And keep experimenting the veils. Yeah, here we go. Even on the far side of the tangle, the veil's light can be overwhelming, multiplying my shadows in all directions. That's kind of cool. Just a luminescent growing. This close to a veil, the light is unbearably intense. Its repeated patterns leaving ghosts on my retinas. And then this one. With the blinding veils behind me, I notice smaller pinpricks of light moving across the slope. There are other creatures here. Cool, so they'll come next. We're experimenting with the veil. Ow! Did that to myself! Okay. Veils shimmer along the slope, marked with both glittering lights and the dark remains. Oh, dark remains? That's something I need to look for. But I have to go through the veil. Screw it. No risk, no reward. Ow. Give it a scan. Well, I learned absolutely nothing. Alright, I'm glad we had this talk. I just expended power with no real reason, so... If we get in excess of something, I'll start pumping up my power stores. Or if I find the ROV in time. I've not really been in huge risk of dying. I mean, there's been threatening situations, but... nothing too challenging or cataclysmic. Kind of curious as to if this is just kind of like a quote-unquote walking simulator, where you're just kind of exploring and witnessing new things. Alright, the water bulbs! Partially transparent egg-shaped creature. Oh, I'm calling these cryptic creatures water bulbs. Let's see what we can uncover on them back at the lab. Which feed... Oh, hey now. What the hell are you? Complex creature. Occasionally this creature stops to unfold its tentacles and chamber to cover the broad area of water. Is it hunting? I mean, that could be really bad. A strange creature sits inside their iridescent interior. The outcrop hides a wealth of life, from long-legged crawlers and filter feeders to blurred shapes which flit through the suit's lamps. Now, that would be terrifying, just seeing things fly out in front of you. This seems to be the month for oceanic games. Each of the wide petals has patterns of stomata and stamen across the surface, and from these, some kind of pollen drifting out in clumps. Significantly taller than the bloom's fans, these creatures seem to favor the rocky substance of the ocean floor's basalt pillars. Okay. This huge curved fan glows with warm bioluminescence. Waves of amber light pass up its considerable height. Let's go that way. The fast creature. Better look at these creatures shows they are swimming with their rear legs and using their tails to propel themselves somehow. I like the small creaking sound that offers. There we go. Okay. On closer inspection, these petals are solid growths, not fragile objects. They sit like thin tree stumps in the sand, each on its own wide stalk. Okay, sample candidate. Oh, wait. Is there a sample candidate here? Yes. Don't mind if I do. Nice. Glowing forms. Basalt is sanctuary of life and warming light. Standing beside these clusters of egg-like forms, I can feel them filtering huge volumes of sea water in pulsing gulps. That's cool. As my voice goes. What is that? Deep pollen. Large floating particles produced by deep-sea plants. Okay. Away from the outcrop and silty slopes begins to descend again. So this is like a, just like a little high up oasis, so life can flourish. Flourish, I should say. A large field of veils, whose pale light appears unpleasantly cold in comparison to the warmth of the oasis. A large tangle of veils stretched out ahead, producing a cyan light that softly flickers in the dark. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head south. That seems to be the direction I'm not supposed to go, so I'm gonna hope to find more results there. No wonder Manet's ROVs never return. These veils are everywhere. Like on Earth, they must rely on predation to survive this deep, where little sunlight reaches. The tangled veils create a translucent twitching maze. Oh yeah. Who knows how temporary these gaps in the walls of veils are? We should make use of them while we can. I mean, if you insist. It's going deeper into the veil. So we're going to start here, move that way. There's a beauty in being inside the field of veils. A song of light that makes it impossible to keep sense of direction. What's this? Feature. These loop veils are carrying a wave of light that passes from one individual to another and back again. What does it mean? They have some rudimentary communication. That's what that means. Let's go in here, see what we have to see. No, I'm gonna get zapped. Well. The veils seem to sit away from the basalt shelves, preferring to seed themselves in the silky dark between rocks. Now I'm heading back. Gonna minimize the zappage. Does this offer any power? It does not. This does. And I already have one in base. Hopefully I'll be able to get another one. Ow. Give it a scan. The veil here creates a set of gauzy walls closing off the ocean around. Like city lights beyond a curtain, I can see the warm pinpricks of an oasis behind the waxy veil. An avenue between the veils, flickering shapes caught in the soup's lamp, suggesting other creatures make use of its safe passage too. Huh. It's just for the ones not smart enough to survive, I guess. There it is, sample candidate. Some creature has shed or lost a segment of its tail shell here. Among the veils, it looks small enough to sample. I gotta do it. It's just gonna be one zap. One zap. Ow. I wonder if that's only hurting the suit or if a EV's getting a sense of that shock. What's this? Tail segment. Okay. Let's get the F out of here. Yep, noted. Alright, so we gotta be kind of careful. Frugal with our energy, if we will. The veils are coming together ahead. I hope this gap will remain open long enough for us to pass through. That could be a problem. Just drifting in the waves. This veil is hung with the husks of its catch, like dark clouds obscuring the starlit sky of its bioluminescence. Oh, hey, more samples. Digested remains. There we go. Caught by the veil and partially digested. I don't think I'll hit in this vector. Past the drifting sheets, another pattern of light skirts around the edges of the tangle. A mutual predator in the veils, perhaps? One of these is going to be some crazy giant behemoth. It's going to eat me alive. It's hard to tell if this is a colonial creature or a... Okay. Or a single individual. Whichever it is, we should keep our distance to avoid those tentacles. Shit. A gap in the tightly knotted veils leads to the welcoming amber light of the oasis. It's kind of cool that the light itself is kind of like an amber glow. There we go. Coldfire Bathers. What a name. I'm going to name these cold fire bathers. They seem to be strongly linked to the lights of these fans. Okay. These wide, petal-shaped plants gather in groups and grow in the light of the deep-sea fans. Their pollen fills the water around each stem. A bright fan. Unlike the bloom's fans, these deep water variants are covered with a translucent sheath of mucus, which protects their delicate spines. This fan shimmers with waves of cold fire, bathing the surrounding oasis in warm light. I like considering it cold fire. It's it's an apt term of just like something bright. And the, yeah, I got another one of those. Shit. Another garden of creatures rooted into a dark basalt shelf. A welcome break from the intensity of the Veil Field. It's kind of impressive to think about the Veil Field just being just like this unbearable light. One that can be seen for miles. Excuse me. I broke it. Oh, okay. Oh, that'd be... Damn it. These creatures seem to follow the same routes back and forth through the veils. Why do they limit themselves to these pathways? This side of the outcrop, where the warm light of the fan does not reach, is absent of life. Let's take a peek. At the edge of the outcrop, in this light of the slope, a shallow burrow leads down. Eggs glint within. We could sample them. There we go. Secrets. What's this? Beaded eggs. A string of orange eggs found in the deep ocean. Well. How would you feel if I did that? And... perhaps that, because I already have one of these. There we go. Actual fuel. There's, at the northernmost tip of this outcrop... Oh, whoa, hold up. Okay, I already got him. Whoop. Abyssal sail shell. The small dark creature with the large translucent tail. Oh, here we go. Abyssal snail shells. These wide plates are instantly recognizable. Okay. Allows it to rapidly move through the water, navigating the veil tangles safely. On the northernmost tip, the outcrop, a dark pillar rises up, its stacked layers edged with pale silt. These pale pulsing creatures have noticeable... Sorry, I see moving. I keep thinking it's a new creature. Have noticeable growths budding from their central form. We could sample them here. Don't mind if I do. Not really hurting on oxygen right now, but... What's this? Ovoid bud. The bud of an egg-shaped creature found in the deep. Nice. Tiny creatures crawl silently among the layers of dark rock, leaving behind small, strange markers in the shallow silt piles. Checking to see if there's any new direction to go. As the basalt self sinks back into the silt in the ocean floor falls away into a huge field of glittering veils. Away from the outcrops, the veils claim that the territory they can claim what territory they can. This field is the largest I've seen, wandering away into the deep. Well, obviously we're going towards the veils. I want to learn more about them. I got their digested food, but maybe there's something else. A split in the veil leads into an ornate interior. Navigating its huge tangle would be a struggle. Might as well pursue the challenge as it presents itself. The veil are reaching in towards this point on the ocean floor, like vines seeking the sun. From this middle point of the tangle, it is impossible to see behind the glimmering walls of the ocean beyond. Here the walls of the veils come in close, turning away from the core in the tangle at strange angles. And the veils on each side are mimicking each other, both shapes and patterns pulsing lights, playing a mirror game. I mean, that's kind of a common of having predators be social creatures. I mean, us, whales and dolphins, are have very much the similar mentalities. The curving walls lead to other gap in the tangle, filled with light and movement. I mean, there's no reason why it has to be reserved to mammals. Bodies of creatures that were trapped in the veils lie piled in the silt. The veil must pass them here, from tangle to tangle. I'm gonna see if I can go around. Yeah. That's gonna go through there, so I'm gonna go down and up here. Other lights. Among the hypnotic patterns of the veil, other lights move. Pinpricks like LEDs shifting loose orbit in unseen body. Okay, I already got... Oh. Deep Orrery. Alright. An ornate creature that casts a net-like arrangement. Oh, with all these orbiting polyps and strings, I'm naming this creature the Deep Orrery. Arrangement of tentacles and the polyps to shock passing prey into submission. I'd rather you did not shock me, sir. That would be unpleasant for the both of us. As I do have a cutting torch, and I will make you pay. A group of looped veils output the same pattern and ornate game, call response. Are they communicating with each other? Okay. The tangle turns back on itself, revealing new paths into the interior. Okay, we're going this way. A gap in the middle of the tangle where the lights are dimmer. The sickening shifting sensation lessened. I'm starting to think there is some battle of territory between the veils as they search for the best spots to cast their nets. Interesting. That kind of suggests that the veils are multiple organisms. Here the veils close in towards each other, sheets passing against one another in gentle waves. I guess I want to go this way, unless this is an oasis. Two veils that look like they've recently split present a narrow gap in this maze. Another piece of territory, yet to be claimed by the strange patterns of the veil field. And then this. A shell segment gleams among the large number of husks, semi-digested husks, jeez. Dumped by the veils. It looks small enough to sample. Oh, my inventory's full. I only need one. At least I suspect I only need one. That is an assumption on my part. Tangle split away from another here, moving down from the slope from the field. Yeah, I can suffer a shock. Let's do it. I got plenty of energy. Ow. Another clearing in the field surrounded by possible routes, both through the pass and past the flickering veils. Okay. As Tangles... Oh, hey! Jamabi, how you doing? Yes, this is kind of the, sorry, I didn't see that. I was pretty absorbed in the game. But, yeah, the game, this is the UI. Basically, it's got, like, a little base thing, but it's very narrative-based. It's kind of got this command console, which I like in games, but I can imagine it's not the most, visually appealing. How you doing today? Tangles split away from each other, and density of the fields starts to thin out. Yeah, this is a game I'm, like, super immersed in, but I'm having a trouble... not getting tunnel vision. The veils thin out, the last of their light falling across the sandy slopes as it descends deeper into water. The tangle is behind us now, leaving only the dark of the deep ocean behind. Oh, there we go. The slope continues its irresistible descent towards the distant abyssal plain. I hope I didn't miss you, maybe. Another shelf appears out of the dark, but nowhere on its surface can I see the warm glow of a fan. So this is a dead rock? Interesting. Unlike the other outcrops, this one's free of life. Is the proximity of Veils vital for the other colonies to coexist? Maybe. Gotta get light somewhere. Outside the reach of the Veils, the dark, cool water is welcome change from the incoherent patterns and lights. Another of Manet's, oh nice, ROVs scattered across the outcrop. We should still be able to use it to transmit the core to reach the base. Its transmission core. You know, it's a lot more simple than it gives credit to. Actually, give me a sec, I got a timer. Here in the middle of the outcrop, an ROV. This one's carrying a supply cache too. We should recharge and refuel our oxygen. Let's access the map data and open up the terminal when you're ready. Cool. But yeah, it's a, it does let you figure things out, but it's a lot simpler than you think. This is basically your fuel. This is your oxygen. This is how deep you are. You scan, you confirm, you click where you want to go, and then you click go. This is your little steering rod if you want to make it go faster. You can zoom in, zoom out, and everything's narrative based, so how they've written the game is really good. I think. But then again, I'm like a big reader, so, I mean, anything written down that tells a really good narrative is this. And it's like all about exploration. We're going to this underwater ocean and basically using its description as a way to go forward. It seems like the ROV was disabled by the Veils, like the other one. This can't be right. The mapping scans report a large physical anomaly just north of here. From the data, it looks like a structure. That's impossible. Maybe the Veils fried the sensors? Either way, we should go check it out. I mean, yeah, but I got exploring to do. So yeah, let's say, let's take a look. Let's go to this area via the steering wheel. We kind of turn. Boop. It's that easy. You turn. You boop. It's just a sequence of buttons. We seem to be through. No more Veils ahead. But yeah, the story so far is we're Evie. I think Ellery Vans, or whatever her name is. But she got a transmission from a old colleague of hers, and saying, hey, come check this out. And she ended up on this planet with the first alien life discovered. And then she's basically a biologist, so she's kind of exploring and trying to uncover the mysteries here. So we found a Manet, the person, and then she turned out she was in a comatose state. I put her in the med bay, and now she kind of exploded. She's growing all over the place, which I feel like is a problem. After the last veil, dark returns. I'm just kind of peeking over here to see what we have to work with. Yeah, no, we're heading back. The Veils are cool, but it's the main hazard in this abyssal plane, which is kind of cool. It uses the color scale to kind of like change what the rest of the game looks like. Like when we're up on the upper area, it was like a bunch of teal and yellow, like bright blue. And then once we got down here, it turned like a much darker blue with a larger contrast of yellow. Really adds a ton of depth to it, no pun intended. This is our ship. We are an AI, by the way. We're controlling the suit that Evie's wearing. Or at least that's the role we're playing. So, let's see what we got. We're at the bay. We'll drop off our stuff. The alien life here is really interesting, too. Because, like, they go way in depth into a... well, let's go to the lab. Hi. So, for example, let me kind of show you one that we've already discovered. So, Miyamata, the spore catcher. But yeah, you kind of get the observations of what it does, its behavior, theories you have on it, and it also gives you like an idea of what it looks like, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of compare your imagination to what the game's developer's imagination is. Do this. So right now I'm studying the samples I have. No relevant taxonomy. Are you kidding me? I think I do need more than one of those. I goofed. Multiple taxonomy updates. Okay. Snare veils updated. Awesome. Abyssal sail shell. But yeah, the challenge in the game is as you go through, you use up your fuel and oxygen, right? And these samples, you can use them in your suit. But if you use them in your suit, you're not using them to investigate. So it's kind of that toss-up. I'm not going to do it on this run, but on my own time, I would not mind 100%ing this game. Alright, let's take a look. See, we got the full thing here. These shelled creatures, with their large translucent tails, are surprisingly fast for animals of their kind. Occasionally spotted weaving between veils in the deep, they use this speed as a way of evading the slow-moving tangles. They are also dark in color and small, making them a difficult target for other creatures that might hunt them. They use modified back legs. The wide oar-like shapes both propel themselves and make rapid turns. But most distinctive of all their features is their tail, large translucent tail, which stands like a crest behind them. From my observations, these tails seem to be a form of propulsion for the sail shells, but until I can inspect a fragment of one in more detail, it cannot be confirmed. All right, well, from the small amount of what you've seen, Jamabi, what's your impression of the game so far? I know you've probably only seen a little bit, but what do you think? After finding a segment from the snail shell's tail, it seems obvious that these creatures use their tails for propulsion, but rather than flapping them like a flipper, the sail shells use their tails to catch currents and allow the flow of water to propel them in the deep ocean. Their tails and the rest of their shells are incredibly light, which means even a mild flow is enough to grant them significant speed. This may also be why they follow the same paths. Their propulsion is best suited to using currents where they can find them, rather than choosing their own route. But why travel back and forth through the dangerous veil territory over and over? Perhaps a look at a full sail shell, even a larval one, could help us understand this. Yeah, it's worth a shot. It's it does seem to be kind of a short game. I'm only on this is the third stream of it, but it's kind of powered through most of the game doing it. After analyzing a clutch of beaded sail shells' eggs and inspecting their anatomy, I've started to understand their behavior. Larval sail shells are already forming modified limbs within, thread-like whisks on them. That does not roll off the tongue. These limbs move so fast when the sail shell is swimming that they can't be seen, but in the dormant eggs, they are clearly visible. These whisks would allow the sail shells to feed at catching small larval creatures as well as any other particles of nutrients found in water. This must be what the sail shells are doing when they follow their carefully selected paths back and forth through the water. It is also likely that the veils attract, trap, and produce tiny particles that the sail shells feed on, hence their close proximity. The result for sail shells is very risky feeding pattern. And this is what they look like. See? This is very different from what I imagined. I kind of imagined like a shrimp with a mohawk, but this looks a lot more like a cicada or what are those things? Mayflies, that's what they're called. Yeah, I got nutrient sweepers, shell markings. It's kind of cool that this is a shell. They look neat. Snare veil. I haven't got everything for this one. Snare veils are unique, soft-bodied creatures that resemble a thin sheet of silk studded with lights. Found in tangles of multiple individuals, their hypnotic swaying and flickering lights make them difficult to see in their entirety, but from initial observations they appear to be flat panels of bioluminescent cells which are faintly veined with both nervous and digestive system. Veils survive by capturing creatures which swim to the surface, somehow stunning or killing them, and then digesting them on the exterior of their bodies. I have also observed veils passing prey from one individual to another, suggesting that they have some form of social interaction between individuals. Analysis of the digested remains they leave behind might give some clues as to their predatory behavior. This game makes me want to play Subnautica again. Such a good game. Analysis of unknown remains found nearby the Veil Tangle shows that the creature captures and kills its prey through an electrical charge. This charge, presumably produced by electrical organs that sit beneath the veil's outer membrane, can produce an incredibly high voltage outputs, and the remains analyzed show significant damage from these electrical discharges. The remains also suggested that veils use electrical pulses to control muscles and nervous systems of captured creatures, forcing them to swim deeper into the grip of the veils when captured. Oh, that's cool and terrifying. The veil's manipulation of electrical signals seems highly nuanced, and they may also use them to detect for the detection of prey and even communication between individuals. In order to confirm these theories, analysis of the veil tissue is necessary, although this may prove difficult. Alright. Orreries are the complex masses of polyps, tentacles, and other structures that form web-like structures that swim as one. Unlike a terrestrial jellyfish, orreries appear to be asymmetrical with marked differences even between individuals. Many of the orbiting sections are thin, blade-like membranes, but structures that resemble strings of translucent pearls. Thread-like tentacles and bulbous pulps also make the large part of the creature's bodies. Each orrery is a central mass, which protected by a series of cloud-like soft membranes twisted around each other like a rose. Close encounters with the orreries, Close encounters with the orreries have shown them to be dangerous hunters, capable of tangling up and shocking their prey into submission. They also deploy shocks as a defensive measure when faced with larger creatures, like me. Perhaps further study of their prey may help. Having analyzed some tissue from the orreries' agile prey, we can begin to understand their behavior. Unable to match their creatures for speed, orreries seem to rely on the dangers presented by the deep-sea veils, beside which they are often found. Veils funnel cautious creatures into the orreries' nets, while orreries themselves don't seem to be affected by the veils and are able to traverse them easily. Perhaps the two have a symbiotic relationship, hunting together in a mutually beneficial manner. Outside of this, orreries appear to be mostly lone hunters, and I've seen no social interaction between individuals. Well, what exactly is an orrery? I would like to understand more about their strange, uneven forms. Perhaps even a polyp had been shed, might be details. So that kind of gives me a direction of what to grab next time. We're going to take a look at the water bulb, which I got everything. Water bulbs are pale, soft, egg-shaped creatures with transparent sections on their outer membrane. Water bulbs filter water through their interiors, which are hollow apart from a single gelatinous sphere which sits at the center of their anatomy. Is so unique that it's difficult to understand exactly what these incredibly passive creatures are doing. They seem to have small stump-like legs at their base for stability, but it is unclear if they use them to move. Water bulbs seem to simply sit and filter water while bathing in the pale light at the edge of the fan oasis. Perhaps we could understand more by analyzing the petal pollen and other particles seem to absorb in the oasis of water. Yeah, my mouth is tangling up. It's like when you trip over a word and you're trying to catch yourself stumbling forward. The analysis of petal pollen, which reveals them to be water bubbles with the skin of waste matter, fails to add much more to our understanding of the water bulb. It's clear they gain nutrients and perhaps some of the oxygen housed in their interior from the consumption of the pollen, but unlike the glowing fans, they don't seem to be reliant on it. Instead, they display a surprising level of passivity while absorbing and filtering much of their local environment. They seem to be without predators or prey. They are ignored by many other life forms. I have noticed some of the specimens have buds, small growths, which suggest they are growing clones of themselves to reproduce. Perhaps by carefully sampling one of these buds, we might be able to get a miniature picture of the water bulb's anatomy. Analyzing a water bulb bud has provided an important insight into their anatomy. The bulbs themselves are mostly hollow, with only a thin membrane, filled with pores separating them in the water around. The interior side of this membrane is iridescent, lined with hexagonal crystals of guanine, producing the effect like the eye shine seen in terrestrial crabs, sharks, and other creatures. But on much larger scale, these creatures reflect light onto the sphere by the center of the bulb, which is in fact a huge and impossibly complex compound eye. A giant eye? That's insane. This eye can see a broad spectrum of light, including UV and IR, with at least 36 different photoreceptor types. What are these water bulbs observing, and why that when they are so passive? Just the thought of their total vision makes me nervous in their presence. I mean, I guess we're inherently afraid of being watched, just as a species. So it's like a big old eye. Interesting. Alright. We got one more. Cold fire bathers. Cold fire bathers are pale, thick-stalked trefoil plants found in the deep of Gliese 667 ocean. The only known specimens currently identified have all been found gathered around glowing fans, basking in their warm light. This suggests that the bathers are photosynthesizing this bioluminescence in order to live, and therefore cannot live outside of the sustaining glow of the fans. This has a knock-on effect for other life, as groupings of bathers then attract other creatures, perhaps to feed on or hide within them. The bathers also seem to produce a type of pollen made up of small particles that float on the deep water currents. This may well be the seasonal or rare events that my visit has happened to coincide with, or a constant state. Further study of this pollen would be desirable. Analysis of bather pollen has shown that they are released around bubbles of oxygen, a waste product that the plants photosynthesize. These bubbles are surrounded within a layer of pollen particles, which weighs them down so that they do not immediately rise to the surface. Instead, these bubbles drift through the water near the bather, and in many cases settle on the nearby fan. Fans then consume these bubbles, absorbing both oxygen and pollen along with anything else that reaches them. This direct exchange of energy and nutrients makes the fans and their bathers closely linked, a strong bond formed under the principle of mutual gain. Alright, that was that. We can check out the medical bay. This is Minay. She has exploded into tiny particles. By comparison, this is Evie, who is a single dot. Minay is many dots. What that means, I'm not 100% sure. We can deal with the satisfying sound. Yeah. That's a very satisfying sound of the turbine. We're going. Our observation deck is inactive. Our communications are broken. So all we got left is our ability to explore. But yeah, this is the map so far. We started here, we moved this way. We got other samples that we can pick up of different creatures. What's this? Interesting. But, yeah, we started here, went here first. That was yesterday. And then today, we're going to be pressing through this way. So we found the anomaly site. We're going to be pressing farther north, I believe. I might explore these on my own time. Just getting more Vale information. Maybe a picture of them would make me happy. Alright. So before we start, I'm going to grab a quick cup of coffee. It'll be no more than 2 seconds. There we go. But as an indie game showcase, I think this is awesome. Just being able to check out something that isn't inherently, popular or seen. I haven't found it on YouTube. I only found it by looking on the discovery queue of Steam. So I'm glad to kind of show it off. Past the shelf, there's only the dark of the descending slope. Which is a terrifying thought. Like, you're on this cave. You can kind of see a little bit of light from the rover, but then you're just looking down into darkness. All you can see is, like, this far with your headlight. And then apparently I'm the AI controlling the suit, so I have a scan so I can see much farther. She's totally relying on me doing that. Dark water. There is nothing here but the silt flickering in the suit's headlamp. This is a structure. It's a little too geometric to be otherwise. Some strange geometric... Oh, whoa. Okay, I already got it. Some strange geometric rocks sit in the dark. What are these formations? Nah, it's too regular to be natural. Like, rocks don't naturally make perfect squares. A huge flat structure bedded on the seafloor. Could Manet have built this? This looks like a hole that I can descend into. What are we looking at here? It appears to be some kind of shaft cut into bedrock. I can't see the bottom. Who made this? It looks like it's been here far longer than anything else. Do I have to be in the exact center to descend? A yawning black shaft that descends into the seafloor. An anomaly that must be solved. That must be solved. We don't have a choice. But we're going in. So this is kind of gauging how much farther we can go before we reach our crush depth. I might reach our crush depth. This is terrifying. The suit's lamps reveal two dark holes on the opposite side of the shaft, their torn edge thick with crimson rust. Rust, you say? The compartment is filled with sand and rock, which looks to have entered through the collapsed ceiling. I knew it! This game's leading us to aliens. We got aliens. I want to go towards this way first. The bent entryway bulges inward, like the interior corridor of some huge creature's distended body. A pale polyp. This almost motionless polyp is... Oh. These pale creatures are scraping patterns into the walls. What are they... Let's see what we can find out. They're scraping patterns. This almost motionless polyp, with its waving cilia, is anchored to the metal plating. Its pale flesh is drained of color. Sand-choked room. The sand drifts soften the metal room on the far walls. Strange spirals glint in the headlamps as a pale creature obsessively traces their patterns. Just the wording of this game is awesome. Can I not observe? Okay, fine. Usually, some places you can gather samples. Whoops. I pushed the wrong button. There we go. The sound design in this game is phenomenal, too. Just kind of like the yawning emptiness of this metallic behemoth. I guess we're going down. Oh, God. Just watch. This is the mouth of a giant metal monster, and it's going to eat us. Nope. Still going. Still deeper. A huge round doorway sealed by thin metal security iris, the plates of which are furred with orange dust. It's some kind of facility. What's that? What was happening down here? Why would someone bury this place so deep? We have to get inside. We can use the torch to cut through this seal. Fire it up. Damn right. I haven't actually used this yet. So we're gonna prime it. Takes a bunch of fuel. Ignite. Do I interact with this? I cut it open. Okay. Let's give it a scan. It just takes power. Interesting. The sand and rock fills one side of the accessway. Dark holes in the walls and ceiling reveal layers of eaten away piping and ducts. Yeah, a lot of the fun in this game at the very beginning is the exploration, but it's also figuring out the UI too. Because as an AI, you kind of just woke up like this, and they're like, "Hey, figure out how to pilot the suit." So you just kind of like checked it out as it went. It's kind of neat. Beyond the doorway, a vast dark space opens out in the rock, filled with the skeletal remains of rusted machines. Rusted machines, you say? Look at all this. I think we're gonna go all the way in here. Whoa! Why is this red? And it's taking oxygen. What's happening here? The water is filled with the red flakes, catching the lamps. From the walls, rusticles hang in lumpen gnarlins. What? Now this is a new, somewhat dangerous this place is huge. How in the hell was it built down here? There's very little oxygen for a rebreather to cycle here, so we are running on reserves. Let's move. Okay, we gotta be kind of fast, because if our oxygen disperses, we die. Once loading bay, vehicle hangar, this is domed atrium is now dark and distorted. Its huge sand drifts, hiding panels of oxidized metal. Let's see what we can find. Above, a huge shelf lurches out in the curved roof of the bay, its underside hung with globular orange spines. The eaten-away frame of a vehicle lies outside the lock, canopy twisted open, fused in place. Okay. A large open lock leads into the depth of what appears to be a corporate arcology. What secrets have been buried in this place? The music in here is awesome. Makes the place seem huge. Both doors of the massive main lock sits open. The entire arcology must be flooded. Hello, what's this? The vast volume of arcology ahead is piled with rocks and sand, drowned in this dark ocean. Well, let's figure out what this is. Those are Bacile markings. What was an exoplanet extraction core doing here? I worked for Bacile. Manet worked for Bacile. They built the suit. They built this base. The mine exoplanets skim helium from gas giants and help drive forward humanity's expansion. If they discovered life, we would have known. Everyone would have known, unless something happened here, something they didn't want anyone to know about. Yeah, but what is it? Decrypting. Massive breach. Life support will fail in 2 hours. There's anyone in Bacile on this channel. Please respond. The main volume of the arcology is broken up by low buildings, partitioned away from the space. Were these offices? Homes? The metal walls of this passage are etched with strange spiral patterns. What made these? Some glistening thick with the mucus. It's probably a disease. They found some alien bacteria that started killing them. Okay, let's get the sample. There we go. Spiral secretion, an ornate pattern of secretions left on a corroded panel. Did I just grab that with, like, my hands? The scan suggests a creature is eroding the surface below the cilia, absorbing nutrients from the oxidizing metal. Thick knots of wires are strung between angular buildings. Ducts and pipes poke through the pockmarked metal plates. This is cool. Now I went from exploring a planet to exploring a ruin. The whole facade of this building has been torn away. Rough shapes of metal furniture and tools lie in the sand. Okay, decrypting. Deep retrieval needs more repairs. HA, they need to stop pushing so hard. The artificers aren't going anywhere. The distinct shape of a metal desk lies half buried, its surface blurred by a thick coating of silt. The metal walls are buckled by pressure and corrosion, leaving the large wounds in the side of this compartment. Why would they have picked the deepest point to build a city in, though? If anything, I would have tried to get closer to the surface, where you get more life. Say again. Constantine did what? Jesus Christ. Harrison, Site 2 is breached. Power is spiking. Oh, jeez. This entire corner of the room is piled with tons of rock and sand, leading to a gaping hole in the arcology ceiling above. Just keeping an eye on my oxygen. In fact... Cool, these guys actually give a decent amount of oxygen, so you can tell. So this is a carbon atom, this is an oxygen atom. I don't know how much you know about chemistry. The angular shapes of heavy machinery are everywhere, their delicate parts fused by corrosion into the complex thick vein pattern. Okay, let's go that way. We must keep exploring. I've already got that one. The lines of the fabricator and machine suggest this was some sort of machine room for the repair and maintenance of the arcology. I gotta look up the definition of arcology. I believe it might mean something different from what I think it means. Loose wires hanging across the doorway are clumped with fragile lumps of silt, like tumorous growths. This place is definitely a ruin. An automated transport sled loaded with crushed storage cases juts unevenly out of the sand. What else we got? In all directions, huge sand drifts shine in the dark. Among them, shapes of crippled buildings resembling the remains of a desert city. Wait, sure, I'll go that way and then try to explore this way. I think we're going in here. I'm gonna need to use my cutter once again. Oh wait, I haven't got this one yet? I thought I did. Massive breach. Life support will fail in 2 hours. Oh yeah. A passage to the northwestern part of the arcology is blocked by a huge rock slide, with boulders strewn across the concourse. And then this, an alleyway cuts between the piles of sand and loose rocks, sealed up with the security iris after the breach. Well, gotta cut it out. Use our resources. That's the secret here. Prime it. Ignite it. Do your thing. See, games like this are kind of like a testament of... I mean, I like games like D&D, where it's all theater of the mind. You're just kind of exploring the world as it presents itself through narrative alone. And, like, little details. T.S. Site 2 is silent, and there's nothing from Ophilos. Site 1 is off the grid. Where are the rescue teams? I don't think they're sending rescue teams. Bent at a sharp angle, the wall here is coming away from the floor, leaving a sharp-edged opening into the room behind. Gotta find something. The tables, the distorted rows of chairs. This had to be where they ate, where they spoke. How many lived here? Okay, we got more creatures, so we're going this way, I'm guessing. Yeah, there we go. Decrypting. Disobedience will be reported. Consider your next action carefully. Damn it, Koji, we are dead. Buried here. Dead and buried here. Nothing from Ophilos. Their feed just cut out. We are being erased here, but Kyle is pulling the plug. Chairs lie in disarray. What happened here? Was it sudden or slow creeping realization that everything was about to end? Ugh. The Ophilos is going down? God damn it, what are they doing to my ship? We are leaving, now! The polyp's flesh recoils at the barest hint of pressure, but no further movement response recurs. A pair of work boots lie quietly in the corner, overflowing with silt. Well, let's check out the work boots. Why are they there? Okay, I need a little pick-me-up. Give me some oxygen. We've went from a biologist to an archaeologist. Sand slopes down over the tables and chairs from the breach in the wall. It's hard not to imagine witnessing the breach. When they say breach, do they mean just like a giant hole where water rushes in? That sounds like it would be terrible to see. Were these gaps smashed through when the arcology was breached, or are they part of a slow process of rust and decay? I would hope the latter. Okay, we gotta investigate back here. The facility twists away into the dark, drifts of pale sand, filling the corridors as if it were an ancient tomb. Man. The spirals have been etched across the surface, representing the polyp's path of movements at the rate of an inch per week. That's pretty slow. The metal plates here are marked with an elaborate spiraling patterns. Their markers and ghostly polyps scrape back and forth, adding to their work. There we go. Slow, colorless polyps found inside the arcology ruins. They trace... I call these slow masons for their careful glacial etching to the arcology walls. They are hypnotic. In the facility feeding off of it. The wall glistens with a thick secretion left by the polyp, retracing the same pattern over and over. We could sample this thick mucus here. I would like the mucus, please. Let's go gather it. Nice. So, the remains of a workshop or office flooded with sand and rock, twisted metal platings hanging from bent frames. Okay, we need a little oxygen love here. Sand has filled this corridor, which looks like to have led back to the entry hall. Breach must have been catastrophic. Oh, no worries. You don't. Basically, this is purely exploration and avoidance. It's more of an environmental puzzle than one with enemies. The metal desk pushed against a sand drift. A Bacile-branded mug holds the pile of rotting paper drifting away. But yeah, this is kind of it's theater of the mind, like you're just exploring. We haven't found much of a issue, but we're trying to like uncover a mystery by discovering things. We're finding new creatures. We're finding that, you know, we might be in a lot more trouble than we need to. We're uncovering a conspiracy. The company that we work for apparently has an arcology that nobody knows about, but the arcology's dead. Oh, and it's slowly draining my oxygen. So yeah, let's go here. Oh, I've already read these. Yeah, okay. This room was totally obliterated by rock and sand. The shard's bent walls are the only remains of the building. Yeah. But it is really cool so far. Like, the story is incredibly immersive. Decrypting. Fragment. I'm sorry, Isabel, for what we did here. What'd you do here? Among the sand drifts that fill the four buildings, there are shapes of tiered bunks. This is where they slept. Okay. We're kind of running low on fuel. This place isn't a facility, it's a city. How many more died here? Those without drive recorders, those buried under rocks and sand. It makes my skin crawl. Sure. Alright. The door to the berth is slid back, revealing the sand-choked beds of the arcology's occupants. Let's get this guy. I'm going to get some shut-eye. First geoengineering shift is in 4 hours. See you at 3. Okay. Geoengineering, huh? Are they trying to terraform the planet? I mean, if it's already presenting life, I don't really see why you would need to. A set of overalls lie flat on the berth, wisps of sediment drifting from their openings. A Bacile logo still faintly visible. It's kind of interesting that the the body decayed before the overalls did. You don't know that, Jason. They are going to come for us. No one is coming. We both know that. I lied to get here, Kai, and now I'm going to pay for it. What do you mean? This isn't even my real name. Oh, okay. Joe isn't even my name. Okay. So it seems to be like some kind of research outpost. Has to do with the architects or whatever they were calling them. Let's go this way. On the still intact berths lie decomposing clothes, a single glove, and a pair of round clouded glasses. So we're finding bodies. Lots of bodies. We're uncovering the dirty laundry. Behind the crew quarters, huge pipes sit against the wall, surrounding by sand. What was powering this place when it was in operation? Probably geothermal, if I'm willing to bet. Okay, I actually need some fuel. Were these supplying the powers of the arcology? Perhaps a geothermal plant buried deep below. The wide tunnel to the northern part of the arcology has completely collapsed. Is there anything left behind those after all those tons of rock? Earth-originating species of coral from the families Muscae and Merlinae. They feed through both photosynthesis and filtering. Earth-born corals, these polyps build environments for themselves through calcareous material deposited in their skeletons. The octennial atrium was clearly once lined with a glass filled with water, aquarium at the heart of the facility. Well, let's get a sample. Maybe I can eat them. Are these corals? They must have brought here from reserves on Earth. So it sounds like they're trying to find a new planet. Filter feeding fans that beneath the mucus sheath pulse in warm light, often surrounded by other creatures benefiting from their glow. I'll call these cold fire fans after their mesmerizing flame-like pulses. Derelict atrium reaches outward. I gotta head north. This way. This pipe, now filled with sand, looks like it exploded outwards, taking the glass atrium wall with it. I kind of want to go in here to find more, but I need to find discoveries. I'm almost out of power. Okay. I understand, sir. No, we are prepared to follow the erasure protocols. The site is already sealed, with all hands present. So yeah, there's basically a protocol to kill everybody. The ragged split in the atrium wall is lined with the rust, leading into the dark, particle-choked corridors. Guess we're going this way? Now, let's go. I know I'm low on power, but samples. Fan seems to have a symbiotic relationship with the corals that consumes their spawn as they absorb the fan's light. Sure. Already got fan sheets. Yeah, but I need more than one, so why not? That power is crucial. Alright, the rock and sand covers the rusted metal of the arcology so completely that it's hard to know where the facility ends and the caves begin. Maybe if I go this way? Huh. The walls here are covered in spiraling patterns, an obscure lexicon written in glistening trails of mucus. Charming. Okay, my O2 is really low right now. I'm probably just gonna eat these. A buccal shell? Alright, here in the collapsing arcology walls have broken through into the existing complex deep beneath the ocean floor. So much to explore, so little resources. The caves lead away from the bulk of the arcology, wrapping themselves through the solid rock of the planet's crust. Okay, what am I gonna find down here? This is insane. Maybe I should head back, refuel. The sand filling the tunnels turns it into a dark horizontal slit, but I can detect current running into it. How deep do these caves lead? Let's find out. The spirals here are smaller and more interwoven than elsewhere in the arcology. Layer after layer forms a patina of circular marks. Neat. A large molted skin is piled in the corner of the cave. Fragments of it drifting away across the sand. What creature left this here? Yeah, I want the sample, thank you. Unknown. Is this a large creature? A piece of a larger pale skin found in the caves of the arcology. These caves look ancient and deep. Is this where the creatures now inside the arcology came from? Did the breach release them? Interesting. I guess that's that. We're going to head back, see if we can find a way back up. And then we'll analyze our samples. And then we'll see what we're up against from there. We ascend as best we can. Is this the same point, centralized point, or do I got more to scan? I think I do. 8 broken windows stare out in the atrium into the upper floors, where white paneled walls resist the rust. At the top of the basalt pillars, a miniature statue of Baikal Suit stands heroically. What the hell is this place? Strut supporting the window has corroded away, their undercoat of metal now furred with rust. Let's check out the statue, I guess. Little glass dome. An aquarium glass of the atrium is shattered, leaving only the glinting shards of orange rust and stained silt. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna need more samples. This is brutal. I'm sure it's just a standard security drill, Mr. Fidenza. We will be able to return you to the other shareholders shortly. Alright. The financial implications are massive. We have never even come close to achieving this level of computation before. Around the atrium, some of the seating areas remain, flooded with sand. Easy to imagine the lab techs meeting here on their lunch. The whole facility destroyed, buried, erased. Was this what Monet was looking for in the deep of the ocean? But how did she even know it was here? Feels like I'm swimming in other people's secrets. Yeah. Yeah, this is a big room, though. I should probably head this way. Maybe this way. I don't know. Transporters split, loaded biohazard containers, faded with unmistakable neon yellow. What is happening here? The ceiling here bulges with the weight of rock above, the walls of sand curling inwards. Yeah, but let's talk about survival here. Huge slabs of rock have fallen here, erasing the boundary between the lab and the dark caves surrounding it. Okay, resources low. Let's take a look at what we got. These are good for fuel. Suppose this is good for oxygen. I guess I'll take one of each. Alright, the entirety of this room is lost beneath layers of sound. Bars of metal frame, like bent broken ribs, poke out of the drift. Let's take a look. Nothing. Acid yellow containers shine brightly in the suit's lamps. Streaks of rust among the other sides show they have sealed with time. More samples. Sand piles against the barrier, sealed by the emergency overridden. The arcology was breached. Is this a situation where I got a cut? Oh, I hope not. It is. I don't got the fuel for this. I guess this is the challenge I was talking about earlier. But this also sounds like a finale. Or at least leading up to it. Ceiling entry hall is partially collapsed. Its gridwork of girders bent and rusted. Okay, tell you what, once I explore this room, I'm going to head back the long way. Rust-choked hall stretches out in the dark below. Wrecks and rocks live in the shadows and the silt. Oh, I can descend deeper. Really? I mean, is this a point of no return? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's say, I think I need to go this way, but I'm going to try heading towards the surface, getting the ROV to refuel my fuel and oxygen, and then dive in once again. There's way too much of this arcology to not just have to take significant trips. Then we're just gonna skyrocket upward. I wonder how I avoid getting the bends. As in decompression sickness. Need the ROV. Grant me your gifts. Man, it's just a giant hole in the ground. That's amazing. Oof, I needed that. Alright, let's dive back in. What's up, squid creature? Damn it. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Into the depths once again. Now that I have a clear vector path, like I should be able to save oxygen and a fuel while I explore places I haven't been before. Just keep getting deeper. Interesting enough. Okay, now we're gonna start spending oxygen. Yeah, here we go. I can come back to where I came from. That's a good shortcut to where I needed to go. To the rover, I mean. Alright, there's nothing else in here. Let's head back to the central area. I'm a little more comfortable now I'm not so close to running out of resources. Yeah, here we go. The rooms here have been buried in rock, leaving only the shattered passage between them and the cave. And it would appear I've already been here? Oh. The cave and the room have merged here, so it's so hard to tell one from the other. Was this cave here before the breach? Interesting. This cave system must be connected to others under the slope, allowing these creatures to come and go. Just a mucus bubble, huh? Deep cracks lead into the dark, and a handful of tracks suggest creatures come and go here. This is the source of the initial breach? A dark and rough slit behind the lab's paneling leads to the bedrock of the planet. Here, the walls seem to have breached through to the cave system, opening up during the breach. This side of the lab is layering with sweeping sand, covering layers of ornate machinery. Ornate geometric skeletons, like those found in the Bloom. Monet called them artificers. What are they doing down here? Well, they're being studied, of course. Artificer skeletons. They were using them, harvesting them. The equipment here, they were building something, slicing and etching the artificer skeletons. But what? What can these geodesic spheres really be valuable enough to build a whole arcology around? And then bury it. Don't mind if I do. Ornate mineral orb is honeycomb with oxygen bubbles. Oh yeah, we got air. Drifting. We have to power down. If the shielding is breached, they could blow out the whole facility. Start shutdown now. Okay. Protect the specimens. These skeletons alone are able to correlate millions of qubits. They are irreplaceable. Half the lab is drowned in sand, etcher ripped apart by the collapse. This place is almost totally buried and wiped from existence. So they found that these artificer skeletons can actually use as computer processors, I guess. Sealed cups still sit on the surface, stylus buried in the layers of silver silt, hardware corroded into the lumpen piles. This was a computing lab. All these machines are for hardware fabrication. Why didn't these close when the arcology was breached? Were they opened afterwards? The lockdown overridden somehow? Interesting. The security locks lie wide open, giving a clear view of the laboratory equipment beyond. Okay. Unlike the lower level, the walls here have resisted the corrosion. They're matte white, covering stains with orange, but unbroken. Stained with orange. The rust, I'm assuming. I suppose I can go here, too. In fact, let's. I'm going to explore south first and move my way up here. Okay, fine. The thick chunks of glass can still be seen in the sand. It must have been terrifying when the aquarium shattered. Absolutely. It probably usually is in the end. Rusted shut, these hulking metal containers must have carried engineering suits and fabricators. Bacall was building something. Why does it always end up in a corporate conspiracy? The entire ceiling of this lab has come down, filling the chamber with sand and rock. No one could have escaped. So am I unable to get through here? I suppose I am. The ceiling has given away above the lab's second entrance, filling it with rock and sand. Okay, so this is completely full. Yeah, it's alright. We can do this. We'll cut through the middle. We still got plenty of energy and oxygen, all things considered. I can still use the mucus membrane. Head this way and then go in here. Let's see what we got. A huge entryway suggests this is the complex's main lab. Faded Bacall markings explain the procedures for entry and decontamination. Oh, we got a door. We got to cut our way through. While the main locks are open, the entryway is sealed with a hastily installed security iris. We should be able to cut through. Torch, go. All right. The glass door here was violently shattered by the breach, breaking open what looks like a clean room. Okay, I got tons of O2, but not a lot of fuel here, which might be a problem. Okay, this looks like a suit fabricator, but retooled to build a large-scale machinery. Its buckled plates reveal a crimson interior fused with rust. By rust. Might as well. The artificers. With them, we could rewrite life. We rewrite life as we wish. We could rewrite it to endure, Lucas, to surpass us. Interesting. Like blocky coffins, these containers are still used by Bakai's ship. They're suit to active facilities. These are empty. Okay, so there's no suits. Nope, we gotta head back. And go into the main lab. This is probably where the big secret is. I'm excited. Rows of chairs and corroded consoles scattered across the tabletops, precisely machined components, thick with silt. We're working our way over here. Okay. Take the suit, Akiri. Stop arguing. Without you, the project is dead anyway. Oki needs to survive. Am I Oki? My little Mine, I'm sorry to leave you all alone. Sing a little for your mother. It's so quiet here. Oh, jeez. A lightweight lab suit sits propped in a chair. Sediment drifts from gashes in the soft material. Hollow socket in the helm faceplate. So I found Mine's parents, I believe. It's morbid. The suit is tagged Akiri Nomura. I don't understand. How? It's impossible. It's her. It's Mine's mother. This is why Mine came here. She was looking for her mother. She has been here a long time. Decades. Has Mine been looking for her all this time? God, Mine, why don't you say something? Anything. I can't. Give me a minute. Oh, I guess she's all weepy. Let's use this. I'm gonna keep moving forward. The lab is ripped apart, plates buckled outwards, massive coolant pipes breached, twisted metal now browned with age. A long yellow cylinder marked with turquoise glyphs, identical to the casing mounted on the back of this suit. Our suit. So I found my AI core. Probably made by the artificers. This is the same cylindrical casing as the one mounted on this suit. The same casing that houses you. Akiri was building it from artificers, building it with the machines in this arcology. She was building you. This is you, one of you at least, a draft of an early vision, a prototype. Akai is your mother, your creator. Did you know this? Did you know about any of this? No. Then you forgot? You malfunctioned? God, I can't think. We need to go. I don't want to be here anymore, please. Yeah, but what else is there? The glass tubes once fed coolant into the lab's core and shattered. Glass shards now smooth in soft currents. Unfortunately, I am curious. Means you can't be here. Oh, here we go. Inside of the pipe bulges with corroded growth. It stretches up toward the surface, and a faint cycle of light glows above. Oh, an easy exit. So we're going to peek down to see where it goes, and then rush up. Oh. Lovely. A slow mason. Okay. Let's ascend, see where we end up. It's a vertical shaft of light. So we found Mine's mother. All the good it did her. The surface of the basalt towers distance faintly with the blue light and falls from the surface above. They look calm, ancient. So what are you going to do about it? That's kind of the big question. Like, yes, Bakai, like, buried this stuff, but you're one person. Slopes descend into the dark ahead. There's silver silt, a single plane leading into the towers towards an inevitable end. Man, I was not comprehending that sentence. We are out. I don't know what to say. We're still in range of the ROV on the slopes. Call for pickup. Let's go home. Okay. Good old exposition. 4.2 hours. Rebooting. Alright. Oh, you're back. I'm down in medical. I disabled the quarantine. It's beautiful in here. Oki? Is that your name? Yes. I like it, despite the history. Listen, I don't know what you are thinking right now, but I want to say I trust you. Sure. I don't know what you knew about the arcology, but Bakaile's history on this planet. Even your own history. But I do know that you helped me, you protected me, you guided me. I owe you for that, no matter where you came from. You didn't choose to be created, like any of us, but this place is your home. You are made from pieces of this ocean, from pieces of its past at least. I'm learning not to be afraid of the past. I'm not afraid of her either, of Mine, if that's her name now. I think she must have found something among those skeletons in the bloom, something truly alien. It changed her, it continues to change her, but perhaps that's what is needed. Change. I found something I think you need to hear. I've been going through the arcology data, and it wasn't the only facility on this planet. There are 2 other sites, 2 other Bakaile facilities. We need to find them. Bakaile was up to something on this planet, something bigger than just AI research. I don't want to look away. I want to see what Bakaile did here with my own eyes. I've marked the site's coordinates on the dive map. We should be able to cut our way in. It's not just about Mine anymore. It's about Bakaile. It's about what happened here. It's about your history and the weight it carries. I'm ready when you are. I mean, sure. But it still leads to the ultimate question of just like, now what? Like, what happens now that we found this? Where did those things go? Did I accidentally throw them away? Uh-oh. Okay. Med bay. So I guess you're inside here. Mine has grown very large. Which, I mean, yeah, beautiful and all, but it's also probably wildly dangerous. Okay, can I finally analyze this? Thank you. Cool. Excellent. So let's check out the taxonomies. I got 2. Right? 2? Yeah. So we'll start with the slow mason. I got everything. Slow masons are colorless polyps covered in waving cilia, which etch elaborate spirals into the facility they feed upon. These pale, formless creatures are solitary, but not exclusively so. Some accumulate together in groups, hugging against each other's mass. There appears to be no obvious chemical exchange or communication within these groups. But perhaps the pattern they form as they eat serve some social purpose. Their exteriors show frequent evidence of consumption by other species, with no obvious method of defense. Upon being threatened by pressure, the polyps recoil, but do not appear to possess the ability to flee rapidly nor fight back. Perhaps sampling their secretions might help us understand the underlying patterns. Analysis of the patterns secreted by the slow masons suggest something close to rudimentary communication. There are repeated motifs created by multiple numbers of species, unlikely to have emerged simply from their natural movements and feeding patterns. Due to their slow pace, it would take an extensive amount of time to determine and prove the correlation between rhythmic alterations in the pattern and the events faced by the polyps. Whether they represent a warning, a form of social engagement, or markers of potential nutrient sources remains unclear. But how are these patterns perceived by other masons? Without any obvious eyes, they can't see them, but perhaps like Braille, these secretions are ready to read by touch alone. I can't actually think of an Earth-like compound that has something like writing designs into the wall as a form of communication. I think like lichen does something like that. Like it has it knows to grow towards where food's going to be. Analysis of the strange mottled skin found in the arcology caves shows that it's clearly formed from the flesh of slow masons. Within the tissue, the bodies of multiple polyps have knitted together over a span of decades, forming one large communal layer. It must have provided protection, or perhaps it was the birthing sac of some larger, unknown form. Shed skin can represent evidence of renewal or transformation. Perhaps the polyps are not mature, but are at a larval stage of the species, with each member uniting to form a larger being. As of yet, I have found no trace of a matured form of a mason, but the cave networks on the ocean floor could hide many creatures that could easily evade discovery. And that's what they look like. And these are the designs. Kind of cool. The pattern language. You got seams. Neat. And then let's go for the fans. These tall fan-shaped filter feeders can be found in the deep ocean of Gliese 667, where they glow with a distinctive warm bioluminescence. The centerpieces of the deep ocean's oasis of life, cold fire fans, and their flame-like pulsing light attract many of other creatures to live around them. How this benefits the fan isn't precisely clear, but there are many possibilities, including defense and sustenance. Although the fans themselves do not lack in defense, as unlike the smaller, paler fans, which may be found in the bloom, cold fire fans have sheddable mucus sheaths which stops them from becoming overgrown with other plants and creatures. Sampling and analyzing these sheaths might give some further insight in the role they play in eating habitats. Getting a hold of a cold fire fan's sheath has brought many other samples with it. The sheath itself is covered in pollen, microbiological colonies, even fecal matter. It seems the sheath acts as a barrier for large particles, blocking them from reaching the fan's spines, while smaller particles pass through and are digested by the fan. The fan's light is their beacon, specifically intended to bring creatures into its glow, benefiting the fan with the resulting increase in particles in the local area. The sheath stops this from becoming overwhelming for the fan. This can be shed in order to protect it. The patterns of the fan's light remains mysterious, though. Why does each individual display different pulses and waves at different times? Interesting. We got the bay. I'm not doing that quite yet. Habitat. All right. I know you've been reading these. Oh, well, great. The access logs show someone has been in the file system of my terminal, and, well, by process of elimination, it has to be you. I don't mind. In fact, I suppose I've been writing these entries for an imagined audience anyway. Confessions, or maybe just need to talk. We make strange Tio now, me, a depressed xenobiologist who can't keep her mouth shut, and you, an AI built from remains of sentient species, and your sister? Monet, who is now more plant than human. But as far as I can tell, we are the only ones in this planet who have any chance of finding out what happened here. I think I'm starting to understand why Monet called me here. It was because she trusted me not to give up. Not to let this go. Let's not disappoint her. Okay. Let's listen to the soothing sounds. I love that sound. It's huge. Alright, where are we supposed to be going? I'm gonna go in the bloom, it would seem. I definitely have to start exploring this area for more, you know, things. Samples, that's the word I'm trying to find. Alright, well now in relative safety, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I will be right back. Alright, see what we got. I guess we head southeast? We can go pretty quick. We have to be careful of our oxygen. Let's go this way, I suppose. Yeah, quickly dissolving, I get it. Alright, the ghost of some equipment lies in the silt. Many pieces Manet's expedition into the bloom. Alright, large bulbous rock emerges out of the rock floor. Silt gathers, winding in cracks. I gotta be kinda quick, because my oxygen's leaving very quickly. The rock outcrops of the area clogged with a string of microbial growth and dance in this slight current. Tell you what, I won't read these parts out loud. Just because I'm actively dying. But yeah, on the YouTube, you can pause and read them if you need to. If you are indeed curious. Need to go here. Concealed, yeah. Good, samples. Maybe I should have brought some samples I've already analyzed. What is this? Just a little bit. Boop. Shards of rock with green clouds between turn the seafloor into a miniature landscape. A sickly pale green light filters down through the rocks. Oh, which way to go? This heads more south, and I believe that's the destination I'm going in. You think we made the bloom? Rock shutting out green, strange angles. Here's modeled through dark patches. This way. A south central ridge, bloom reaches disappearing green clouds of growth. Okay, when we're in safety, I can read. Tucked in the ridge wall, bubble-filled oxygenator. Yeah. Excellent. Through the green clouds, something bright glows in the dark ahead. Ah, crap, I have to go that way. That sounds cool. Strange glittering domes marked with ornate patterns and holes sit in the silt. Whatever inhabited them is dead. Let's go check it out. I want samples. Did I already scan that? I don't think I did. Oh, yeah, that's the whatchamacallit. Protected by a sheer wall of the bloom's central ridge, these open nests flutter in the movement of their swarms. So I believe this is the bubble that they're talking about, whereas the creatures come from this mass over there when it weakens, which is kind of cool. These guys are full of fuel. Splitting the bloom, this vast ridge descends into the north, where it may be possible to cross. Actually, I have a theory. So, looking here, it says something Stop that. Something glows in the dark ahead. I think it's talking about this, not this way. Unless... I gotta investigate. I can't not. Clouds of bloom across the royal dark rocks. There we go. Rear side of the fan, free. Yeah. I don't know. Even I don't want to click quickly outside of what I'm sampling here, but as you can see, my oxygen is critically low. Gonna head here and here. Is sampling available? Is there more? No, there isn't. Maybe this way? Like stone tumors, these rounded rocks rise up out of the green toxic clouds. Interesting wording there. Okay, I've been here. I gotta get out of here. Let's head back to the dome. Protective sphere, if you will. There we go. Salvaging what oxygen I can. Oof. That might be rough. I could swear that I have already scanned those, though. So I might not feel bad about actually using them. This way, this way. I guess let's go this way. Yeah. Let's give ourselves an oxygen boost. Wait, really? There's nothing here? Well, now what? I guess we head up here. I was right the first time. We'll scour the seafloor and head north. Once we're in the safety, we can read something. I'm very reliant on these samples. They don't give a ton of oxygen, but they're not better than nothing. Alright, let's give this a scan. Bloom vein. Awesome. The bloom is blindingly thick here. Though some of the southwest seems something glowing. So yeah, that's where I came from. In the rusted holes of the rock shelf, silt has gathered, forming a rare shelter for life in the bloom. Nothing but sharp rocks and green water. I mean, I guess I want to go that way? I've already been that way, so we'll head back. We'll head this way. Give it a scan. Alright, layers of rock stick out from beneath the silt. Yeah, actually, don't stop. I'm resisting my urge for exposition. Old shapes. Not seeing any geometric shapes. Damn. Alright, back the way we came. I don't want to go where I've already been. Let's split open shelf. Place to gather. In the sharp rocks, a pale strip of sand. In the green. Sounds ominous. Alright, between the rocks, shell fragments. We're gonna get some. Oh, I don't know what these are. Okay, well, let's head back, because I am slowly dying. I know, I know. Yeah, I really gotta start bringing samples. Oxygenated samples. Yep, broken uneven water. Maybe I can make it back to the ROV. Just eat these. Strange fizzing light provides comfort. Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, here we go. Whew. Is this where the... Oh, good. Yeah, I kinda gotta. Man, this is a place I've been, though. This bloom is wildly dangerous. I kinda like it. But I think I was a little too thorough with my exploration before. Is there a direction I haven't been? Is the question. Maybe up here? I mean, it looks limited, though. I guess we go this way. Damn, okay. I guess let's head south through the road I've already taken. Might find something there. Yeah, this is slowing me down a little bit. I gotta... We'll find a safe haven. Grab the samples. Eat the samples. There we go. Give it a scan. I guess I'm heading this way. There's got to be something here. Is there a direction I haven't gone? No. There might be context clues, but they're hard to read at this point. Cool. And then I'll give a scan around here. Or is this where I came from? Huh, I think it is. Shit. Let's head this way. Wait. Let's see if I can actually read this. Yeah, this is definitely where I've been before. I kind of want to get to this cave, but I don't know how to get there. Let's give it a scan. Maybe I've seen something. Oh, more samples. Lovely. At least the samples are a renewable resource. That's a plus. I guess let's go that way. Royal on the rocks. I want to get to this. To the Anti-Bloom Caves. Right, there's gotta be. I mean, I guess this is a cliff face, and I can't really head here. Sure. What is this? Bronze-colored bivalve shell found in the bloom. Fair enough. Okay, so if this is a cliff face, I can't really head north through it, can I? Maybe if I head back the way I came, there's another direction I can go. Like, this looks like a chasm towards here. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to have to scan, though, just in case there was a direction I didn't find. Oh, there is. Alright, deep bloom, fast green. Nope, back the way we came. This is more of a maze than in the Vale. Okay. Okay, we're gonna head here. And that's where we're gonna do our scan. I know. Shit. That ain't good. I don't got much in the way of oxygen left. Crap, I gotta keep looking. I think I'm gonna head back to the base and hopefully reboot our oxygen stores. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's real bad. That is real bad. Let's Get out of there! I don't want to hear it. No! I died! First death. Rebooting, huh? Oh, extracting the suit. That's kind of cool. That was rough. I got to take another look at that big map to kind of know where I'm supposed to be going. I thought it was southeast. Oh, what happened? Are you back online? Yes. Good. I think the suit's preservation protocols kicked in. It brought us back to this way station. That was lucky. Please. I need you to keep an eye on our oxygen and power. Let's not do that again. Now, where are we? You know, I don't know where we were. I'm going to be honest. I was trying to head here. This is... What is that? Might as well head there first. Oh, cool. I kept my samples. That's neat. Okay, so wandering lost in the bloom is basically certain death. So we gotta consider that. So I guess I'm heading this way. Can't be too slow here. Alright. We're exploring the outskirt. Where does this lead? If anywhere. And this is just darkness. Grab our samples. That's going to be our lifeline. Guess we're probably going to use them all. Cool. Damn. I'm not really seeing a way forward, but we'll find out. It's got to be this way. It's a direction I haven't been yet. There we go. Get out of there. Get the samples. Nice. Those are good oxygen sources. I think this is a difficult part because I've been here, so I've explored a lot of different places, but I need to find where I have not been yet. Inventory's full, right? Eat it. Let's head this way. I'm gonna try to go southeast still. Maybe there's a direction I haven't explored. Alright. South it is. Okay, I can steer while moving, so that's not so bad. We'll be quick about this. Shit. Give me O2. There's more. What's a bloom bubble give me? Fuel and oxygen. Okay. Yeah, we need to scan. Nothing. Or at least nothing I haven't seen before. Alright. I'm gonna hold off on the samples, I guess. Or at least just eat them. Shit. There's gotta be a facility around here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Safe haven. At least a small one. Yeah, there's a cave right there. Is this where I explored Manet? Or Manet's found the suit stuff? Here. I may be slightly panicking. Actually, I believe that might be the case. Yes, thank you. The sphere fragments are huge. They're like a huge dose of oxygen. Let's quickly explore everywhere we've been. Yeah, I believe the bloom might be the most dangerous place we've been. Probably should have studied the map a little bit better. It's a shame I don't have like a map option here just to look at the full map. Nothing. All right. We're not too deep. We're only 28 meters. All right, let's head back. So I guess I need to head in this direction? Perhaps? Or maybe more inland. Yeah, maybe I head this way. Quickly grab these. We're just panic harvesting. Oh, here we go. Pulled from the base generator. Blah, blah, blah. It's a shame I have a hard time reading these things. Yeah, I read a little faster quietly. Sample. Interesting. Fine. A fibrous nest. Cool, another thing I haven't found. Crystalline bloom. Okay. Let's head this way then. Not exactly what I was looking for, but I'm glad I have it. Wow, that's ridiculously resourceful. Rocks look beautiful. Lovely. A regular organism. Here we go. In territory I haven't been before. Get in the oxygen, please. Eat this. Grab some samples that I'm going to immediately consume. I guess I was the only one. Fair enough. Alright, between the wall of the ridge and the corroded shelf, a wide strip of pale silvery silt. Of course, more silt. There's a big hole there, or is this just a mountain? Yes, let's head north. Filament's Peak. There we go. Alright, what are we up against? Okay, this isn't a new sample, just eat it. I need the O2. This place is dangerous enough. Does it actually give us a fuel at all? No. Just a little token. There. I'll hold on to it. So this is actually getting closer to this cave, so I gotta go this way. Silt gathers against the side of the central ridge, which stretches up the blinding green. Oh. Green bubbles. A little bit better. I'm replacing the lower tier stuff with the higher tier. Thick fibrous growth, dark entrance. Let's do it. Maybe there'll be less bloom in this underwater area. It was consistent in the previous place. Yeah, here we go. Oh, there's bloom here too. Curved walls streak with cascades of green bubbles, all glassy and sickly green of the light of the suit's headlamps. Corroded into the tunnel mouth, a seal is stuck fast. The only way in would be to cut straight through. Oh, I do like that. I don't want to grab the sample quite yet. Let's cut through the door, though. This place has the chance of being particularly vast, so I gotta be careful. Let's slice it open. This has to be one of the other Bacao facilities. Cool. It's a very satisfying thump. Collapsed chamber. Choked with rock and sand, the metal chamber is deathly still. The angular shapes of industrial machinery lie in wait. Okay. What do we got here? The pillars which stretch up towards the cavernous roof of the chamber are warped and distorted, barely able to hold the weight. I believe this is a place where our oxygen is going to be degrading. Hulking machines built for industrial use sit covered in a fine layer of sand and growth. It was a place where people worked. Well, let's check it out. I like the contrast of the blue and the red. Well, let's go here then. Hasn't choked me out yet. Half the rock ceiling above the chamber seems to have come down at once, burying most of the room. I imagine this was once a sealed tube, stretching from the floor to ceiling, but now it's just a round, ragged hole in the metal floor. Okay, I'm gonna search around before I go down deeper. Maybe I'll find new life or something. Look at that tank. It's filled with microbial growth. What was this place? Be careful. The water will be just as toxic as above. Oh, great. My favorite. This dark hole in the floor is spewing out the same microbial clumps as seen in the bloom above. They settled around the vent in the lair. I guess I'll go through this hole, as I feel like it is less disastrous to my health. Is there anything else to explore up here before I do? Nah. We dive. This is gonna be a struggle. So we can't go there, but maybe up here? Well, we can go there. And angular plates, piled with sand, are all that remains of the room's structures and divided this level of the facility. The shell of some corroded maintenance vehicle is flooded with sand, its top garden of microbial growth. Whether it was a control room or a storage shed, this room has been totally crushed by the facility's collapse. Okay, let's go that way. I don't want to go into the bloom quite yet. If I can avoid it, I want to preserve my resources. There we go. Some decryptions. Sir, Dr. Hess has just arrived from Site 1. Send him through. Constantine has full clearance. Okay. Huge volumes of rock and sand must have smashed through the layers of the facility, burying it in its occupants. Ugh. Yep, we got a bloom hole. Sounds like a bad case of hemorrhoids. The side of the vast tank has been corroded away, melted by incredibly dense volume of microbes inside. Okay, I'm not going in there yet. Shattered tank, dense microbes, green webs, blah blah blah. Okay, let's get out of the oxygen draining. Let's try heading up this way. Some semblance of safety. But maybe this is a wall. Bacao containers marked with a now dull yellow biohazard tape. What were they shipping to this facility? Could the bloom be Earth, like red tide, except green in this case? This is no lab. This is an industrial facility. These containers must have carried some vital resource for its operation. Fuel, perhaps? Now we gotta head back. We're going in the bloom, folks. Okay, I got plenty of resources. I can use this. This is good for fuel. And then these guys. It's basically all I got. Yeah, let's do it. Let's be quick about it. Again, as I'm dying, I'll keep the reading to a minimum, but I'll skim by so you guys can look at it on YouTube. Maybe pause it or something. Jesus. Get out of the bloom! There we go. I'll go back in. These pipes, those tanks. The facility was outputting huge volumes of something into the planet's atmosphere. This has to have been a geoengineering project, a way of changing Gliese 667. But looking at this place, it suffered a total collapse. What went wrong? Alright, I gotta look around here. There might be a sample. Yeah, exactly. Plumes of green microbial froth from the breach in the tank are microbes local to this planet. Did Bakai bring them here? Yeah, I wonder what the ethics of, not bioengineering, terraforming are. Like, actually changing the atmosphere of a planet to make it more sustainable to us. Wonder if there are ethics to such. The tank stands in a huge hall, its pipes leading off into the dark. This facility was not built to study this planet, but to change it. Did we create the life on Earth? Are we the Genesis species? These wide pipes look to have been connected to the hall's tank. They must have controlled the outflow whatever was produced here. Okay. Well, I think I was also wrong. I was saying this was leading to a conclusion. I do not believe that's the case anymore. I mean, it's leading to a conclusion, obviously, but I don't think I'm close to it. Okay. Alright. Maintenance in the South Hall is continuing. I'm seeing massive pressure spike here. Control? Oh, shit. That's probably terrifying. These banks of consoles must have controlled the operations within the tank. Oh, hey, Vox, what's going on? Played Carrion. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Would you say it's a good game? The banks of consoles must have controlled the operations within the tank. Now the tank's contents have turned them to scrap. Okay. Let's give a little scan, see if there's anything research-worthy. How did the towering metal container split apart so violently? An accident or something more? I mean, yeah, we already have evidence of a sabotage, of them pulling the plug. Fast 2 stretches out, full height, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We're heading this way. Getting out of the bloom. I'm glad you enjoy it. That's been on my wish list for a long time. But I haven't had a opportunity to jump on it quite yet. I might have to check it out, though. The central tank has held back the sand and rock, but it leans unsettlingly forward into the hall. Wood, short but good. The enemies are actively silent, but take that creature can't understand. Yeah. Well, okay, so they're silent, but does that necessarily mean that he's not hearing it? Maybe you don't have ears. The fully sealed tank rises up through the center of the hall, a sheer side streaked with growth from the southern tank. Let's check out the southern tank first. Maybe go this way and then that way, and then descend here. Silent until there's... Fair enough. Maybe they don't see you as something to, you know, talk to. The connections between this console and the tank is sliced clean through. Is this what stopped them from breaching? Well, that's kind of cool. And does it seem like it has a decent enough story that they're leading to, you know, something cool? The rising wall of sand leans heavily against the tank, burying tons of equipment and who knows what else behind the slopes. They know you're a threat. Well, you don't. At least don't have those schmucks that you know, oh, let's make friends with it. You know, easy food. All right, scan this. Crypting. The sounds of this game are amazing. Fragment. Yes, sir. Atmospheric density is increasing ahead of schedule. Please inform the board. They will be pleased. Of course they will. A large access hatch to the floor above lies open, its ladder corroded into a twisted, rusty spine. Okay, and I can ascend. Well, obviously, let's check that out. Is there anything else? Nah. Go to the upper levels. Ah, here we are. The rows of sand-choked desks, rusted consoles, and dim monitors make it clear. This was the facility's control room. Preserved by the low flow of water inside the control room, smoothed out shapes of human bones are scattered across the floor. Well, that's charming. There's a bunch of dead people in here. This is where they controlled this place once. They were changing this planet, manipulating it. The vast tanks of engineered microbes were their tools. Algae changed the atmosphere of Earth billions of years ago. These creatures were meant to do the same. But by accident or sabotage, this containment was breached. These idiots! They could have killed every last species on the planet, eaten up in the global bloom. Somehow the reef survived. Somehow the stocks held on, tried to revert our mistake. Humans don't deserve this planet. We don't deserve to find life. I've seen enough. Scan what's left and I'll take a look back at base. Let's find out a way out of here. Humans don't deserve it. I mean, obviously that's what we're trying to do, is just kind of a terraform the planet so we can live here. Alright. At least I'm not suffocating. No! No! Oh god, the tank is breached! The artificers! I didn't mean... Oh, okay. Nice. Constantine? What are you? Step away from the console. I'm sorry. Okay. Control room's evacuation hatches hangs open. Piles of rock and sand are all around. Let's keep exploring in here. At least I have a way up. Despite the cave-ins, this console is surprisingly pristine. A cup sitting beside one of the monitors where it was placed decades before. I'm kind of surprised the pressurization didn't move it. We are doing the artificers a favor. Despite all their abilities, they couldn't manifest this kind of planetary change. Yeah, we did this for them. Okay. Let's see about ascending. Oh, hell yeah. I gotta cut my way out, though. This is why no one escaped the facility. The tunnel is sealed. The control room's escape route cut off. Plasma cutter. Taking way too much fuel. I like this game where it's primarily a simulator AI, or a UI. Sealed at both ends, this corridor is pristinely preserved. The Bacile decal is still visible on the gleaming walls. Okay. Are you taking pictures? Or are you just having research logs? A second seal locks off the corridor at the other end. They made sure no one would escape. Okay. So how do you get, like, a corporate guy who decides that his life is worth the company? Like, what benefit do you get in the afterlife, I guess? By, you know, killing everybody for Bacile. Or Bicol, or whatever they're called. Alright. The tunnel leads out into a smaller shelf overlooking a rift, discreetly cut into the rock. Maybe this is takes us outside of... Nice, decent color change. Outside the bloom. Back in open water, the current at this end of the rift softly pushes against the suit. But we got a deep dive suit right now. Above, the steep rift wall meets the shelf of the bloom. Oh, of course. Back in the bloom. where we suffocate to death slowly. What do we got? There we go. Need a little more fuel. To the north, green clouds rise up, a familiar sight of the bloom that surrounds the shelf and the facility below it. I guess the current's pushing me this way. That's why I wasn't able to get there before. Behind the pillars of the reef, the strong currents are lessened, making a small sheltered stretch of water on this side of the rift. Ah, here we go. Cool. Maybe I could have found it earlier. Interesting. Nope, gotta go in the bloom. That sucks. Here we go. Oh, I can just be retrieved at any time. Get out of there. Bacao OS, 3.6 hours downtime. All right. Back online? Good. I've been working with the data extracted from the facility. What they did here, it's terrible. They could have wiped out life on this planet. Bacao should have known better than to mess with the entire planet's ecosystem. The failure of this facility was catastrophic. The bloom dominated half the planet. As far as I can tell, it wiped out the artificers. Think about those skeletons in the bloom. But the rest of the planetary ecosystem reacted, somehow, resisted, pushed the bloom back. I don't understand how life could have adapted to the change in the conditions so quickly, though. It's as if they evolved to meet the changes of the bloom. In mere decades, impossible. Let's keep looking. There's another facility to investigate, out in the east. There has to be more to this. Okay. I'm pleased at your investigations. Alright, so let's go to the lab. Get our taxonomal information. Okay, bivalve bloom vein. Right. So what do you think about the visuals of this game so far, Vox? I mean, I know I'm reading out the narration, but still. Cool. I'm actually going to be using these as resources now that I don't need them anymore. Neomata, bivalve bloom vein. Nice, we got everything. After being lucky enough to come across the entire bloom vein shell, analysis has provided some possible explanations for the creature's neurotoxin resistance. The shell itself was found to have radial patterns of tiny holes in certain areas, all of which were found to have high concentration of bloom neurotoxin. It seems that when the bloom vein is in its hidden resting state, it exudes the neurotoxin through its shell. Processing the glucose in the bloom grows separately. This exuded neurotoxin coats the bloom vein shell and the surrounding area, making the creature potentially deadly to any predator. This adaptation to the bloom is therefore a highly effective defense mechanism, even if the bloom vein itself is constantly on the edge of a frenzied neurotoxin-induced death. And let's take a look. Oh, that's interesting. Looks a lot different than what I imagined. Bloom growth on the shell. It's got a little bit, so it closes. Oh, it's like a nautilus, kind of. Seeing it on its I don't know, profile. Kind of clamps down. Huh. Interesting fish. Nesting weavers. All right. Did I get it? Okay. The piece of the weaver nest found... Pieces of the weaver nest found offer insight into the weaver's protective behavior. Wrapped in its threads are thousands of weaver eggs. This suggests that ants or termites, weavers are eusocial species, with many generations of weavers protecting and maintaining a singular productive female. These weaver queens must be somewhere within the active nests, protected by the layers of silken threads and weaver workers. Nest fragments also reveal that the weavers farm their own food within the nest structure, carefully maintaining tubular fields of microbes, which through the weaver's careful cultivation seem to produce oxygen rather than toxins that poison the bloom. How can this be possible? kind of cool. A little shrimp making a thing. So this is a weaver? Nice. That's that. Let's check the med bay. What are you up to? Hanging out in, I'm assuming, the bedroom? Yep, Monet's still growing. Medical subject question mark. Because you don't have a name anymore. Okay. Why'd you disable quarantine? That sounds like such a bad idea. Let's listen to the satisfying sound of the engines. That's the sound of survival right there. Oh. Alright, let's take a real look to see where we're going. We're not in the bloom anymore, so that's heartening. Oh, in here. We gotta go to the Eastern Reef? Ooh. Interesting, okay. So with that, I'm gonna try to bring... Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna bring 2 items. An oxygen and a fuel. And a fuel. A decent fuel. There we go. Boom. Oxygen and fuel. And then I can subsist on a, pretty much other samples. Alright. Oh, yeah. This is pretty high up. Easy to see. I think we got time for one more structure. Grab the samples. Soothe Spore. That's gonna help us make things retract, I believe. No, that's make them grow. Okay. Well, let's turn on our boost. Pump it with oxygen. Go! There's like a crazy current in here. East of the current fades, the strong pillars rise up in the dark of the ocean floor. I mean, I could just go low. What's this? These long pale green strands of plant matter entwined in flat blades, which horizontally between pillars. Switches strands are like webs between pillars. Let's start logging them. Okay. There we go. Feathery creature. These cleverly camouflaged creatures, mainly composed of feathery frond-like arms with its waves rhythmically moving. Funny feathery creatures all around the garden. Start observing. This large pillar extends down to the murk, the deep water below, standing improbably straight and tall. A geological anomaly. I mean, current does that, though. So basically, like, winds make tall, cylindrical things, so why wouldn't it happen in an underwater current? Let's turn this off. Patterns of dents in the sand show paths of the feathery creatures that cross the pillars from pillar to pillar in slow, purposeful loops. Make sure I don't miss anything. The pillars is topped with a layer of bright sunlit life. Looking around each of the pillars has the same green-gold peak. Sounds pretty. Alright, let's go here so I can observe. In the sunlight, these spade-like petals open themselves wide into the light, welcoming it gratefully. Okay. Oh, I got a sample. Let's look at you first, though. It appears that a number of these creatures' feathery arms have sharp edges that use to prune the pillar garden flora. Bright pollen, huh? Well, that's gonna be handy. It's a good resource. Alright, I'm gonna go investigate down here. The gaps between the tendrils are webbed with fine strands, almost invisible to the naked eye. This is where we find out they're predatory and about to eat us. Alright, scan, look at the biolife. These silken strands meet in places and become tangled in one another, forming complex webs that are slow to navigate. This patch of water is entirely enclosed by webbed tendrils, and thin strands float through the water like lost hairs. These trailing plants can be of great length and appear to only grow from the sides of pillars. How did they form? These two tendril bridges almost meet before disappearing into the holes of the pillar. Are they rooted to the rock inside? Let's find out. I'll head back to kind of complete the Map. I've observed these feathered creatures moving between pillars along the web-like plants that connect them. Observing the underside of these plants, I can see a layer of pores, stomata perhaps, for waste release. The gaps between the pillars are a pattern I cannot read, one that speaks of complex geological history. Well, let's go investigate. That's why we're here. The impossibly thin pillar rises up the murk like a pencil, these sides marked by a faint strata of geological eons. Okay. I've observed these plants in shades, which stretch from bright green to ivory white. This is an indicator of their age or health. These tendrils have grown close enough to each other to form a complex triangle of strands between small pillars. The feathery creatures that pass along the tendrils seem to be unshakable in their routines, each one carefully doing its rounds. Unshakable. They're like weavers. I've noticed these strands don't connect directly to the pillars, but disappear into holes in their sides. What are they connected to, then? Where these tendrils meet, the feathery creatures are able to carefully chamber from one another, leaving behind feathers as they do. It seems that if knocked off the surface, these creatures can swim, but very inefficiently. It must be an emergency measure. Long strands of pale green and white plant matter that twist into... I've named this sea silk, though I'm not sure what kind of plant it is. Check my notes back at base. Flat bridges web behind the pillar of the gardens. Neat. Scan again? No. So I just need to scan the moving guys then. The little spiders. Oh, there's a sample here. Obviously. What do you offer me? Unknown. Low fuel cost, though. That's a cool sample. Silken strands, pale green strands of plant tendril from pillar gardens. Okay, let's go this way. We require more biological life. It's apparent that matter from the blooms, such as pollen, collects this creature's feathery arms. Is this intentional? Oh, it's shed feather. A delicate feather structure behind the pillar gardens. Lovely. How did these monoliths form? Perhaps they are cores of harder rock which remained when the rest was eroded away. There we go. There we go. The gardener, a feathery, slow-moving creature which prunes the plant for the pillar garden. I'm calling these gardeners. They're so attentive and purposeful. I want to know more about them. Moving between the pillars or silken bridges. It's easy to get confused once you're among the web tendrils. Navigation between sunken islands of life. Neat. Back the way we came. The tendrils seem to be avoiding this pillar. In fact, they appear to be avoiding the main shelf of the reef altogether. Well, okay, let's find out why. This tendril has to stretch a long distance to bridge these pillars. How do they grow like this without any support? This pillar top is a little sparser than some of the others. Perhaps these are more southern pillars, have only been recently seeded. Let's investigate. Oh, more samples. Damn, they just keep going. Despite sitting all the way out here, the pillar's hooked up to others by long tendrils. Obviously, I want to see what this is all about. Okay. A creature has left behind one of its delicate arms here. Perhaps in order to escape from a predator? We could take the sample. Okay. feather arm. Feather arm clogged with pollen from the pillar gardens. Okay. Because even with this giant corporate mystery, we still gotta learn. We're biologists, first and foremost. So we gotta try that. Down here, only a single bridge leads from pillar to pillar. A lone creature braving the currents as it crosses. Well, if that's your life, I get it, but that sounds terrifying. Out, away from the other gardens, this wide pillar feels like a calming sanctuary. A blob of green and gold and sea of blue. Oh, it's just bright pollen. I don't need this. Alright, tendril loosely dangles from the pillar, its root half pulled out of the rock. It's pale and bulbous. We could sample it here. Obviously, I need to. Get rid of the things I don't need. The silken root. Hell yeah. Oh, I didn't read that. Despite being so thick, this pillar is cut through with small holes, and it's on its top a couple of shell plates catching light. Even more samples. Damn. Yes, yes. The hell was that? Unknown. Interesting. Get rid of the two things I brought along. A chitin plate. Excellent. These small young petals are starting to open up. The three suns of Gliese 7. The place where even more beautiful one day. Okay. Oh, wait. There's more. Oops. Let's get rid of this. A new shoot of a petal plant from the Pillar Gardens. Neat. Let's head this way. Towards the facility. I doubt we're going to need much in the way of a oxygen and fuel, so we'll be okay. Just head north. I like how we kind of have the topographical map, but it's not until we're actually close in scanner range that we can see the biological life there. It's basically just formations versus a, you know, observation. And I'm sure I get different observations from EV here. All right, north we go. Alright, miniature garden. Some of the pillar tops are quite small, but that doesn't seem to stop the petals coming for bright shapes. Where's that? Damn it! Got away too fast. Yeah, this is something I've already got. Let's head this way. I have to be quicker on the draw to get those speedy guys. Got him! A burrowing creature. When disturbed, the segmented creature shot out of the burrow, ejecting grit and sediment. Tricky to catch a glimpse of. Let's see if we can scare up a few more. Sure. Between the pillars, light green webs of twisted tendrils extend, forming a thin passageway to the garden. Okay. These entwined tendrils are flat, like blades of kelp, and hold themselves taut between pillar tops. Okay. Samples, huh? What is it? I don't need it. Although... This? Give me a little fuel. Might as well. If I can just sample more. See if I can get the little guy here. Pillar's top is thick with waving petals, each caked with particles of golden pollen. Damn. Okay, I didn't get the little guy. What dictates which pillars the tendrils stretch to and from? I'm not yet to see the tendrils halfway formed. I'm yet to see the tendrils halfway formed. Not quite yet. Lower parts of this pillar are marked with narrow holes. Among them, small plates of chitin shells glint. There we go. Ha-ha! These creatures scrape away at the pillar surface, carving the burrows in the rock. It's impressive given the density of the pillars. These broad pillars is full of rough-looking boreholes. Chitin plates glinting here suggest they are burrows. I mean, kind of need the chitin plates. Already got them. Sure. Damn it. Gotta go scare the creature again. Already got him. Okay. I gotta observe a different one, apparently. Already got him? Alright. The green tendrils don't seem to reach east beyond this point, preferring instead to turn back into the protected waters of the south here. The green tendrils that enclose the space seem to calm the currents, creating a pool of still water. Neat. Is that where I'm gonna dive? Nope, we're going this way. Out away from the pillars, the ocean grants a sense of vertigo, fading down into unknown depths below. It's okay, I got a super low dive suit. This pillar, unlike the others, lacks a garden of its own. Have the plants been cleared, or have they simply not reached this far yet? But it's us. The light of the system's 3 suns falls into something amber and huge to the east. It is almost a pale orange cloud. Is that Bloom? What the hell is this? The translucent tentacle doesn't have a fixed shape. Its individual parts instead cycle through development and phases as they cohere. What is it? A floating colony? These golden yellow streams of light shift... this. Creature's impossibly large. I don't even know how to start logging data on it, but I'll try. These golden yellow streams of life shift around solid objects, held suspended in water. Are these bones, rocks, or something else? Cool. This hard barrier is webbing with pulsing nodes. To gain access, we would need to slice through it somehow. Don't mind if I do. What are we looking at here? This appears to be a huge colonial life form. Is this what remains of Site 1 facility? Let's cut it open. Don't mind if I do. I'm very full of samples, though. Oh, look at that. I can probably spare that one. I can spare that one. In case I'm low on fuel and stuff. Well, let's look at the biolife first. This golden colony is overwhelming. Where does it to even begin? Thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of zooids make up its shifting interior. It seems that the zooids are split into specialized functions and forms, from jellyfish-like medusoids to balloon-like bladders of gas. Interesting. Behind the barrier, the throbbing interior of the colony is revealed, filling throngs of zooids acting as one. A living colony. Interesting. I've never seen colonial creatures of this scale or complexity. Can it really be one single united creature, made of ever-shipping processes? The vague shape of the facility's walls is preserved by the colony. The spaces between are filled with shifting swarms of life. Beneath the translucent webs of the spherical growths, half-digested walls sit suspended, like an exploding room frozen in time. Let's go up here then. Preserved. Alright, the interior of this creature is like a golden bubble, the light trapped in and refracted by hundreds of pearly orbs strung together. Each zooid has a function within the colony. Their flow back and forth is evidence of some complex process that's impossible to parse. Does it eat metal? The colony breaks the surface 20 meters above. It must be floating on the surface, its body descending in layers like a living iceberg. Vast colonial creatures made up of, the Rattus colony. I'll call this colony Rattus. It floats beautifully across the ocean like some impossible vessel. Zooids, it floats freely into the ocean, its upper section breaking the ocean surface. A fragment of a room eaten away into some strange sculpture, hanging in the blue. It's hard to imagine what this place once was. Well, we'll certainly try. Parse some data. K. Clark. The artificers are gardeners, not colonizers. They rewrite genetic code to develop mutualism, to foster life. Theme Thorfinn. This is absurd, Kevin. They are no different to us, adapting their environment so they may survive. No, they are not us. Okay. From some angles, the zooids' clogged walls of the facility line up, and I can imagine the past life of this place, with all its human dramas. Which is kind of crazy. It looks like they found intelligent life, not just life. More gas bladders holding the remains of the lab in place, like the pieces of a torn map hinting at a history of a long-ruined structure. Cool. Let's get us a sample. I mean, if you're going to offer oxygen, as well. A colony bladder. There's a ton of oxygen, jeez. Alright, let's go to the outskirts. The ocean stretches east from here. Blue desert beneath the three red suns. What might lie out here beyond the range of this suit? I think that's a job for a submarine. These shoals of golden life look solid as I approach, but passing through, they are little more than flurries of petals, caught in the current. Okay. This piece of the lab floats on gas-filled bladder zooids, keeping it buoyant. Some float in the open water, the perfect sample candidates. I have already sampled them. Yeah, it's nothing new. The hollow structure of the colony allows water to flow throughout its core, creating both bulbous corridors and open halls. Okay. Why would the colony preserve the rooms of the facility as it consumes them? What bizarre processes are in action here? Well, it makes a habitat for himself. It holds it together and has its little zooids live in there. The central laboratory is almost complete, apart from the large tree-like growths cutting through its walls. Okay. Let's go up here. Scan the data. Dappled light fills the chamber, passing through the complex branching strands orbited by swarms of zooids. It looks like a biologist's laboratory. It must have been the first exploratory base on the planet. They've discovered the artificers. They started all of this. These were scientists like me, employed by Bakal to study this place. How did it end like this? The mines they were building in the archaeology, the genetic research they were doing here. They were all working towards something bigger than just one lab. How could they have let this happen? These biologists. Our first contract turned into a resource grab. Scan all you can, and let's leave this place. I'll review everything back at the base. It won't be long before the colony eats this place away once and for all. G. Sour? Constantine has already left for Site 2. If the facility fails and Site 3 is breached, the Oceanic Mind can be stopped. Why are we stopping the Oceanic Mind? Voight? We can't let this continue. We never intended this. That thing they are building. I know. Okay. What are they building? I got so many questions. That's kind of cool. I feel like an archaeologist here, just kind of like uncovering fragments of the past. I don't know what the Ocean Mind is. Is that something we made? Eaten away on one side, the Rainsys lab are an open set staging ground for the colony's processes of sublimation. Get some of this. H. Roth. Sam, he wants to free them. And what do the artificers want, Hannah? Has anyone asked them? Okay. S. Emerson. Constantine is too arrogant. Just because he discovered the artificers doesn't mean he can decide their fate. Yeah, he can. Tiny medusoid creatures are budding from the walls here, splitting off from the luminous stems to join the flow. The walls are flowing massive tentacles. Some have broken away and are floating freely in the water. We might be able to extract them. Is this something I already have? It is not. Well, obviously. Consume. As long as I got one of everything. Colony tentacle? Okay. Between the ragged parts of the facility stretch looping bridges, pumping liquid back and forth in the heart of the colony. Whew. Yeah, it's time. We can head back. .1 hours, huh? Well, you gonna talk to me? Oh, online again? Good, we have a lot to talk about. I've been digging through what we discovered at the facility. I was right to assume that the facility was the first base on the planet, the start of all this. The lead biologist, Constantine Hest, found the artificers more than 30 years ago. But what's truly incredible is what they discovered they could do. Genetic reprogramming, rewriting RNA and DNA, both in themselves and the local environment. Some Earth cephalopods could rewrite their RNA, but nothing at this scale and detail. The artificers tended to this world, nudging its life into new arrangements. Not only that, but their exoskeletons. They were quantum computers. Silicon wafers of incredible complexity and purity, able to simulate the outcomes of their genetic rewriting. Artificers were housed in natural machines, ones that evolved here over millions of years. Their complexity far outstrips our own. We could have learned so much from them. But Mikhail wanted the artificers' abilities for themselves. And based on what we found at Site 2, we know how this ended. A total collapse, a vast microbial fuel cell leaking into the ocean, eating everything away. The artificers gone, their genetic abilities used, in death, to save the planet's life. They died for this planet, and you are all that survives them. Well, perhaps not all. Keep seeing the same thing mentioned in the data, the same turn appearing in the fragments. The Oceanic Mind. As far as Mikhail were concerned, you were just the beginning, the first mind. Artificers were the key, the inscrutable creatures with the quiet power. Able to simulate, predict, and even to change, they could rewrite life itself. For Mikhail, the opportunity this provided was clear. While the artificers were like gardeners, caretakers of this world, Mikhail imagined something else. An oceanic mind providing total control of the ecosystem, able to enact their will. That's what they were building when the colony collapsed, and it's still out there. In the deep, powered by the heat of hydrothermal vents, the oceanic mind sleeps. I want to see for myself. We have to know how this all ended. I've marked the approximate position on the map, away out to the north, deep in the abyss. Let me know when you're ready to see this through. Okay. Sounds very final. Okay, we got a bunch of research to do. The Hab Bay. Let's read what she had to say. I was born on Earth. Born in the city Ponta Delgada, out in the Atlantic, among the turquoise waters and green slopes of the Azores. Oh, crazy. So there was like an underwater city. My father was studying the dying waters, chasing the last known pods of sperm whales to record a final fading image of their impossible spatial language before it was lost forever. My mother was a journalist, writing a book on citizen scientists that never found a publisher. We lived there, and all along the Atlantic coast of Europe for almost a decade before life became impossible, the storms tearing into the tidal walls, flooding the city after city, clothes twisted in foaming waters. We joined the latest waves of refugees, found ourselves beside the Thames, resettled in London. From the privileged viewpoint, I watched our oceans die, then my parents too, and at some point, once I'd left that sad gray planet behind in a string of Baikal contracts, I forgot the turquoise water ever existed. You were born here. You may be, and maybe here things can be different. Okay. Alright, let's check out the taxonomy of these things. We got a lot of exposition ahead of us, I'm sure. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So is this already done, or did I miss it? No relevant text. Oh, okay. That's because I didn't meet the guys. It's an observation. Interesting. She's just watching the ocean. What's that? Oh well. The soothing generator. Alright, let's read the taxonomies. Plurocolonia, Rattus colony. Oh yeah, awesome. The big super being. The Rattus colony is a huge colonial organism made of layers of zooids, all occupying different roles within its large and complex body. Closer to a living island or an iceberg than a creature, Rattus is a free-floating structure which travels across the surface of Gliese 667's planet-spanning ocean. Trying to observe the patterns of Rattus is a difficult task. I have counted tens of different zooid types, following in constant motion or movement throughout its cavernous interior. We can assume that they occupy the typical roles of a colonial organism: motility, defense, digestion, and reproduction. But in a colony so vast, many other processes may be happening. Does Rattus have any neuroactivity? And why does it cling to the remains of the Baikal lab? Sampling something from the different zooid types might help us understand more about the colony. Well, way ahead of you. Sampling the colony's gas bladders has helped us analyze how the Rattus stays afloat. It seems thousands of these bladders, different sizes, both keep the Rattus at the surface and hold the fragments of the laboratory in place. These bladders, with their high oxygen content, can be inflated or deflated individually to respond to the currents and move Rattus across the ocean. This suggests that the Rattus has some way of orchestrating the massive changes across its huge volume. In a sense, perhaps Rattus is better thought of an individual with various specialized organs rather than a colony, yet it shows no signs of central intelligence. If I was to discover the neural activity within Rattus, could I even understand it? This creature is so alien to our understanding of the world. Analyzing Rattus tentacles has shown they possess the ability to secrete metal-digesting substances. The conclusion is that these tentacles are consuming the lab piece by piece, using it to fuel the colony's incredible growth. Perhaps Radis was once a tiny creature floating in a biologist's tank. When the facility was breached, Radis was gifting a near inexhaustible amount of metal to consume, allowing it to grow to vast size. One day, it will eat away the entire structure, its body carrying the shadow of the planet's first human settlement. Sometimes I wish that our marks on Earth could be erased so easily. The only shadows in our oceans are those thousands of extinct species that we'll never regain. Alright. Gas bladders. Spawning. So I guess I swam inside there. Inflated. Huh. Nice. Sathophora. The gardener. Gardeners are feathery, slow-moving creatures that live among the pillar garden flora. Their upper part is mainly composed of densely packed fern-like arms. Underneath it is a body resting on the dense profusion of short root-like legs that anchor the gardener, but also enable it to walk, albeit very slowly. As gardeners move, they also rhythmically wave their arms, although it is unclear if this is for balance, or is a part of their plunging action within the petal gardens they inhabit. Gardeners don't do anything fast. They do travel between pillars, using the silken tendrils that grow between them. More analysis is needed to discern why, and what their relationship to these gardens really is. Analysis of the garden's feathers, which I have called pinnule, has revealed the gardeners feed on the same thing they camouflage themselves as, the garden petals. The gardener's feathers, pinnules, have razor-like edges with which the gardener cuts away thin sections of the petal to feed on without damaging the plant. However, unlike actual feathers, they contain nerves, suggesting the gardener can deliberately control them for precise pruning and for maneuvering the water if they become dislodged from a tendril bridge. Quite why they risk such journeys, given their ineffective swimming, remains to be seen. Further study may unlock the puzzle and purpose within the biome. Quite why they risk such journeys. Okay. Analysis of a gardener's arm, filled with pinnules, has shed some light on the relationship between them and the pillar gardens. The debris coating the samples is actually pollen from various garden species, suggesting that the gardeners are an important part of the cross-pollination process. This means their contribution to the ecosystem is not just limited to pruning the blooms, they help propagate them too. Indeed, given their roaming paths from pillar to pillar, they must have some way of communicating and ensuring that no one garden becomes wilted or overgrown. This could be a eusocial hive structure or a territorial signature they live behind. Either way, they are a well-coordinated team of marine landscape gardeners. Oh, lovely. That's not what I imagined. It looks like a coral. Huh. Alright, sea silk. This bright green plant stretches its silken tendrils in long horizontal swaths between pillars of the East Reef. This plant is characterized by its fibrous, fine, and flexible strands. That could be as thick as a rope or as thin as human hair, appearing almost white in sunlight. How they form their bridges and why their plant's tendrils do not rise to the surface is unclear. I've observed one plant intertwined with strands from other pillars, and when multiple strands meet, often in areas roughly equidistant from their respective pillars, they seem to form a web. I wonder what if strands from individual plants are drawn to one another. Analysis of strands of sea silk has shown that it is in fact from two different plants that have somehow conjoined where they met. Moreover, they are younger growths formed near the end of each plant strand, demonstrating their ability to form new shoots along their length, which must be why I've observed a web-like pattern from some tangles. However, new growths require a good deal of energy. The strands are green on one side, a sign of photosynthesis, no doubt, but their underside is distinctly darker and more porous looking. Are the strands able to absorb matter floating up through underneath them? I need to analyze the root structure, or similar, to find out more. I was surprised to discover that the sea stalk did not end in roots. After finding a damaged strand, I found it emanating from some kind of silken ball that I initially took to be a root. However, in lab analysis, it revealed to be an entirely separate creature. The sea silk is a product or plant-like limb of this organism. I discovered the root itself able to be put down, but also retract strands of sea silk from within. It is an unusual fusion of creatures. This is a symbiotic relation or parasitic one. Regardless, these curious creatures and their growth are the bridge builders of the Pillar ecosystem, turning isolated gardens into a connected network and helping them flourish. And just like a crazy web. Got the creature. Huh. So it's like a spider web, but it's all plants. Interesting. All right, that's all the taxonomy I got. We're gonna take a peek before I go anywhere else. See where we're going. Ah, the deep vents. All right, but that's gonna have to be for next time. I have stuff to do for the rest of the day, but I will be seeing you guys next time. Thank you for being here. Vox, always appreciate you. Jamaby, when you're here, I appreciate you being here. Anyone on YouTube, yeah, send some thoughts about the story or anything else you enjoy about the game. This one is awesome. The next weekend is going to be when I'm going to be finishing it, or in the morning, so we'll see how long we got. And from there, I won't be on for the rest of the day, as today's a D&D night, and I'm taking tomorrow off, as it's my starting my schedule of Tuesday through Sunday. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you see you next time, and I hope you enjoy the game. Take it easy. Good night.